This is my video for the ABE 170A2 class for fall 2012. My topic was the transition from the Paleolithic to the Neolithic humans. I decided I would approach the transition as primarily an effect of the growth of agriculture. At the beginning of the Holocene, climate change created a warmer and moister environment on Earth. These changes caused many cultural and behavioral differences between the Paleolithic and Neolithic humans. Most significantly, the shift away from hunter-gatherers lifestyles towards sedentary agricultural societies. Agriculture is the establishment of an artificial ecosystem designed by humans that involves organisms that are genetically isolated from their ancestors. Domestication is similar. It is the result of changing genotypes in organisms so that they are more dependent on humans. It can be unintentional, however, which distinguishes domestication from agriculture, herding, and cultivation, which require an intentional commitment by the humans. The domestication of the dog, for example, may or may not have been intentional. The dog proved to be different from other domestic animals as it could be used to aid in hunting. The dog's ability to be trained was utilized from the Paleolithic and through the Neolithic with increasing sophistication. Agricultural and hunter-gatherer lifestyles are not in fact mutually exclusive. There is evidence of middle ground where roaming hunter-gatherers transition towards permanent agricultural settlements. Around 1880, Lewis H. Morgan and Edward Tyler attempted to describe these transitions and the development of human societies with the preconception that there was an enlightening moment from which there was no return. However, this progressivist theory, as it is called, doesn't account for many of the less complex people who didn't achieve what Morgan and Tyler considered the peak of civilization. Around 12,000 years ago, the slow shift towards agricultural settlements began. Since harvests only occurred at specific times of the year, food needed to be stored so it can be consumed throughout the year in between harvests. This was originally done simply by digging pits underneath the floor, as shown in this picture. Later, it was stored in ceramic containers. Both are prominent and important features of farming societies. Since communities were staying in one place longer, they invested more time into their shelters and homes. These homes became less community-oriented, and individual families began to live in their own homes more. These homes were made more complex as more time, effort, and resources were invested in the shelters. Since groups and families could now leave their belongings in a permanent home, they could accumulate valuable items. The uneven accumulation of goods and wealth over time led to a class-based society split between the wealthy and the poor. Wealthy families could own better land, larger and heavier pottery, and especially material items to be worn around the body, such as jewelry and clothing. The emergence of metallurgy only intensified the distinction between the classes. When metal weapons were developed, fighting and warfare had already become common to human behavior. But added pressures and incentives from the growing size of communities led to a gradual escalation of conflicts. Factions would fight over resources, land, cities, and valuables. During the transition from the Paleolithic to the Neolithic, agriculture was the most influential change to take place. It led to many of the technological and social developments made during the New Age. Modern social structures, identity, and more were created in the early farming communities of the Neolithic. Agriculture set down the foundation for the conduct of the rest of human history.